should be available for your sharing ability right now.
So this guy who was arguing with me the other day, he folded his tent. I've never seen this before. He folded his tent. He gave up and defriended me. Okay.
Oh, good.
Like about halfway through, it was, oh, why don't you kick me off? Why don't you? Okay. And I said, no, I'm not going to do that. So he finally gives up after I've crushed his ass. He's got nothing left, and he's gone. And you know, I guess like there were like 17 back and forths, and he was like number one or number two. And as soon as he defriends me, everything disappears below that. You know, which I guess.
Congratulations! Check your mailbox for your prize in winning a Facebook fight.
Yeah. Well, you know, I know where you live. Oh, look, it's my Browns backer cup. This may be like the first thing I got when I moved to Greensboro. Like it was at some bar on Market Street. Where
they used to be the place where they would have the club or whatever.
Yeah. Fortunately, they disbanded that after a couple of years and gave up.
Okay. But why? They were entering a golden period.
I gotta let me see if I can call. I gotta show you this now before we start. It's so good. It's so demeaning to the Browns. It's so perfect. Let me see. It's on here. Yeah, here it is. See if you can see this.
That's not fair. That's only slightly accurate.
The only one that's worse than that is the Detroit Lions. Been longer, you know. Not counting I'm not counting expansion teams.
Probably the nicest coach they ever had was Sam Rutigliano. Just a nice guy, right? You can't really hate that guy.
Oh, I don't hate him.
Nobody can hate him, but he gets crushed under the weight of history.
Oh, no! I mean, I think if you talk to people in Cleveland, they would have nothing but mostly good things to say about him.
I mean, the ones that remember him.
Who's this Belichick guy? He was there for a year or two. What happened to him?
Yeah. Butch Davis, line 2.
Oh, don't start. You really can get in trouble there.
Yeah, you can.
We're going with the Sterling thing again. I got it this time.
This is going to happen. Okay.
I feel it.
As we enter the postseason tomorrow, it's going to be such a great time.
Yeah,
we're going to have to get if the Cleveland team goes very far, we got to get all new Guardians gear because this is all I got. I just got Indian stuff.
Oh boy, has somebody made the hat 50% one way, 50% the other way yet?
That would be great.
Yeah. Because that would be an original idea. That's never been done before.
It works.
How much have you?
All right, white guys talking about sport no one cares about. Here we go. It is the Brad and Britt cast. We're glad you're with us here, and we have a lot of making up for the previous shitty podcast work to get done. According to the critics, our previous podcast was voted worst effort ever in the history of anything. And so we own it. We're not making excuses for it. We're not saying, I've never heard of it. Or it's people trying to make us look bad. Or it's why won't they talk about gas prices? We're not doing that. We don't.
If I could write a check to pay for that abortion, I would. I'll be honest with you.
Of course you would. All right. And in a minute, I want to talk about the guy who caught the ball, number 62, because that's just it's a horrible idea here. Here's the best call of Aaron Judge's 60-second home run, I think, and it is by John Sterling of the New York Yankees. He's been their play-by-play guy since 1989. Or was it 1889? Will you check that, please?
Jesus.
Would you check that? Here we go.
Swung on. There it goes. Deep left. It is high. It is far. It is gone. run, number 62, to set the new American League record. Aaron Judge hits his 62nd. All the Yankees out of the dugout to greet him. Just think of it. 3 Yankee right fielders. The Babe hitting 60 and 27. The Jolly Roger hitting 61 and 61. And now Aaron Judge hits his 62nd home run, the most home runs any American leaguer has hit in a single season. And the American League has been alive for 120 years.
Really?
By the way, John Sterling was there to call Babe's 60th home run and was there, I believe, for the first American League season 100 and some years.
I think I've mentioned this to you before. When I was a kid, I was a huge Atlanta Braves fan, and we didn't have cable television, obviously. Couldn't watch the stuff on TBS. So John Sterling was the young guy on that radio crew and also the voice of the Atlanta Hawks when he was not with the Atlanta Braves. And all of the guys he worked with, I'm pretty sure, are dead. Ernie Johnson's dad, Skip Carey. I think Pete Van Wieren is no longer with us. If he is, he's 116 years old. All of those people now no longer with us.
He outlasted them all. It's like Vince Scully. Now, the game was played in Texas, so it was a home game there. And so here's the homer call by the Texas guy. And This sets a new standard for injecting something about us into a moment that really wasn't about us from the Texas point of view.
Most feel helps the flight of the ball. And that ball is crushed deep out to left, and history has landed in Arlington.
Well, wait a minute. No, it didn't matter. Stop it. No, we're not going. I can't go for that.
History has landed in Arlington.
Yeah, because everybody remembers where these. No.
I'll geek out even a little bit more. Speaking of Texas and Arlington, there is a new documentary on Netflix about Nolan Ryan that you would enjoy, and about maybe one person who hears this would enjoy. The great Nolan Ryan.
He had a good fastball, I hear.
It was decent.
Yeah. Now, here's the worst version of this. Here's the worst version of the home run, and it's from the Yes Network, the Yankees Network, and Michael Kay. And it's not so much Michael Kay's fault. It's, did you just get into broadcasting? The people who run this network, the guy who runs the audio board, you cannot hear a fucking word said here. This is just pathetic. Look at it.
Wow.
Come on.
Wow.
I realize it's television. I know the pictures speak. I understand, but Jesus, that's terrible.
That is pretty bad. That's not good.
Now, see, if this would have worked yesterday on the previous podcast, everything would have been different. That was the fork in the road. We couldn't get that audio up there.
My neural activity would have been so much better. I would have not said things that I didn't mean. It would have been amazing.
Right. We would have been wrecked by the spinning wheel.
You get off to you get off to a bad start. Everything just kind of, it snows. You find that true in life. You get out of bed, all of a sudden, you know, the coffee burns your mouth or something. The rest of the day just sucks ass.
Yeah.
You're done.
Let me make sure that I got us rocking here.
You have one bad relationship with one baby mama who you have to buy an abortion for, then everything else after that is just subsequently terrible. I mean, that's how life works.
Yeah. I forgot to share there, so I don't know whether it picks up from the beginning or what happens if I do this late.
No, you're good.
It just jumps.
It's fine. We still have everything. You can share if you need to. There it is. We're still recording.
Oh, I know. No. It had nothing to do with on your end. It was,
people can start it over if they want to.
It was that guy who didn't know how to keep the volume balanced correctly over the crowd noise in Texas. The same guy.
The same guy. The same fellow.
Right. Okay. So now let's go to the story of the guy who caught the ball. And I guess progress has been made throughout the years because leading up to this, you kept hearing the story about how they had put some kind of chip inside the ball so it could be identified so that no one would claim they had the ball and it would be a fake that they knew how to write. And that's fine. That's fine. But how unfortunate that the guy who catches this ball in Dallas is a guy named Corey Yeomans, Youmans. And if this was a feel-good story, it would be, Corey has been down on his luck. He's been unemployed, living under a bridge for 5 years. And this could be his ticket to solvency because he's going to be able to sell this ball for a lot of money. But that's not how the world works. Corey Yeomans is a vice president at Fisher Investments in Dallas. Okay?
Oh, God, yeah.
So it's almost unimaginable how much money this guy makes. And I don't begrudge him his he might be very good at what he does. They made him the vice president. The guy knows what he's doing.
Or he might be a complete asshole.
Well, he can be good at what he does and a complete asshole.
Yeah, there you go. Possible. Sure.
And when he was asked what his next move would be after he caught the ball, he said, well, that's a good question. Fuck you. All right, so Memory Lane Sports Memorabilia says they're offering him $2 million for the ball. The head of that company says, I feel the offer is way above fair if he's inclined to sell it. And this guy has been texting Mr. Yeomans back and forth. And his company, the Memory Lane people, they do have a good relationship with the New York Yankees. And that if they get their hands on the ball, he would lend it back to the Yankees for exhibits. Record price for a home run ball is a steroid baseball. It's the Mark McGwire 70th home run in 1998, $3 million for that. I guess that doesn't go down in value because of the steroid issue, as opposed to the fact that Mark McGwire can't get into the Hall of Fame and doesn't deserve to because of the steroid issue.
Right.
But this is it doesn't work with the actual baseball, right? And that's just not going to go down. So it's just there's just something horrible about it. It's just not fair. It's like the richest guy on your block winning the lottery. Okay, it shouldn't happen. We don't need that. We don't need that. Now, see, here's the thing: if this guy had any sense of decent, any sense of, here's what he would do. He would say, Aaron Judge deserves possession of this ball. Of course he does. He hit the home run. And so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give it back to him. And when he would add in the fact that he doesn't need money by selling this, it would make him a hero. It would make him into a decent person. Now, I'm putting aside the fact that maybe he's going to say, I'm going to get the $2 million for the ball and give it all to charity. I don't see that happening, but maybe it will. But let's pretend that's not going to happen. If he did that and gave it to Aaron Judge, gave it back to the Yankees might give him, lifetime seats. They would do something, and the guy would be a hero, right? He would be everywhere. But I guess that's not what's going on here, is it, Britt? It's not even close. What am I thinking?
No, I mean, it's obvious he's trying to maximize whatever he can get. If you'll pay 2, you'll pay 3. If you'll pay 3, you'll pay. It's that kind of shit. It's that kind of. I don't know. It's all whatever. I don't know what I would do if I had a commodity like that in my hands. And, it's millions of dollars, and it could set up you. I'm not sure what I would do if I had something like that.
Well, you're in debt. Millions of dollars. We don't talk about this, but you owe millions of dollars. This would help you. So it's a different story.
It is a different story. I don't know. It does seem unseemly after a while, but then again,
not after a while. Right now.
Right now, immediately. It does seem unseemly, but if you got,
I'm judging the guy who took Judge's ball. It's his ball. It should be his. It should be his.
I would tend to I would say, $2 million, sure, that I can live off that. Yeah, that's fine. We'll go ahead and do that. I would probably do that.
We're past what you would do if you would have gotten it. It's not about you.
$2 million a signed jersey, which I will then auction off for a couple $100,000, and then whatever leftovers from the girl you're taking out Saturday night, Aaron. That'll be fine. That'll be our deal. We'll be good.
Right. And what if I don't know? I'm obsessing over this, I guess.
Yeah, this one has really hit you in a way that I didn't think it would. This is really annoyed. That's the level of
maybe it's because I get harassing phone calls from Fisher Investments periodically.
Oh, is that what it is? Yeah, that may be it.
Asking me how I'm satisfied with my portfolio. So, fuck off! I'll call you if I'm dissatisfied, Fisher.
DEFCON 3 for Brad is like annoyed, and then beyond that, when you get down to DEFCON 1, it's irritated. When he says the word irritated, all of a sudden he's not happy. The things are not good.
Oh, and by the way, I'm going to bring you into my world. I'm going to get you on my side. This guy's wife, she was a contestant on The Bachelor.
I'm fully on board with the guy being an asshole. You don't have to tell me.
I just wanted to add something.
No, you don't have to. No, I'm good. I'm really good. And as you know, I hate the Yankees. There's only one franchise in sports that I like watching lose more than the Yankees. That's the Dallas Cowboys. And even I can't work up a good. I can't really work up a good lather over Aaron Judge. I'm as sick as anybody else who hates the Yankees of the interruptions and the hype and everything else. But like I told you, I understand. I understand what they're doing. It's baseball. They're getting crushed by football this time of the year. Nobody's fucking talking about baseball. So they got a good-looking guy who's the biggest star on the biggest team. They got to push the shit out of it. I understand all that. I get it. It's still rather annoying and kind of unseemly, but whatever. That's what you got to do. And some people like it, so let them have their fun.
All right, here you go. Choices. Crazy man in Florida yells at the Sky and CNN and says, prove the big lie. You can't be a good candidate unless you're a good liar. Or conservative Rabbi Shmuley goes after Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Yeah. Let's go after the guy in Florida yelling at this guy.
Trump says he's suing CNN. I guess he has sued CNN for $475 million. And his claim is that CNN has been lying about him continuously to defeat him politically. And he is now challenged. There's nothing better than a Donald Trump challenge, isn't there? Prove the big lie. Prove the big lie. He said this on TV, of course, so it means nothing. You can say anything. Donald Trump says, the big lie is not a big lie at all. The big lie is the opposite. The big lie Trump was referring to, of course, is the network and everyone else on planet Earth applying that phrase to his claim that he was cheated out of the election. And Trump says they would never be able to prove the big lie in court. Now, where did Donald Trump say this? He said this on, again, Britt, this is the 7th tier right wing holding on by its fingernails. How does it exist network? The one that's called Real America's Voice. Okay.
RAV? Rave?
Yeah, right. RAV, which, by the way, Toyota should sue them for using that.
Absolutely.
Don't you think? Yeah.
100%.
Right. So he's on there with that crank John Solomon.
Yeah.
The guy who's put out more bullshit than a pack of horses. And of course, it's not a big lie. I agree with Trump at one level. It shouldn't be. It should be called the biggest lie. But that's just the semantic. It isn't even a big lie. It's the biggest lie. Just for the record here, and this is why the Associated Press exists, in order to waste their time doing shit like this. Here you go. They calculated and they ran the numbers 7,700 times on CNN since January of 21. The network has used the phrase the big lie 7,700 times. Trump's claims about the supposed rampant fraud that took place at the polls in 2020 have been refuted And the Associated Press investigation last December found, you ready? You want to know how many instances of fraud were found? This is all across the country. You may be surprised when I first say the number, but don't jump in till you get the background. The answer is 475 different instances of mostly individual fraud in the 6 battleground states. The Associated Press, at the time that they published this, said this is a number that would have made absolutely no difference in the 2020 presidential election. The cases could not throw the outcome into question, even if every one of them had been for Biden, which they were not.
Because a lot of them were Republican. A lot of these were Republicans, right?
Right. And even if those ballots were actually counted, which in most cases they weren't even counted, they pointed that out. So the answer is yes. If you want to get down to proving that Donald Trump is lying and it's a big lie about whether the election was stolen from him, he would lose that in court. And it probably goes to why all 60 judges all over the country after the election said, get the fuck out of here. You got nothing.
See, that's the point. That's the point. It's like, that's what some people are going to go, yeah, CNN is scared. Why don't they go to court? Well, this has already been adjudicated from here to Mars. They lost every fucking time they went to court. There was nothing. Every time and time and time and time again, that stupid legal team, which has turned over about 7 times since the end of 2020, they would lose time and again. There's nothing for them to adjudicate. It's already been proven that the big lie is a big lie before we even go to CNN. The lawsuit is a huge, massive, unbelievable, crazy, unmitigated sham.
Right. And people like Bill Barr said it's just bullshit. And let's put that just over to the side a little bit right now and think about what you're hearing and seeing here a month out now, only a month out from the midterms. And, the scripts are pre-written and they're just pulled out every 2 years or every 4 years, depending on the cycle, which is, guess what? These races are tightening, right? Everything's tightening up right now. And the issue of protecting our democracy in peril, January 6th, every survey now has that down 4th, 5th, maybe 6th most important thing that voters are thinking about, which, of course, that's a Republican win all the way around. If nobody is thinking about that as they vote here or make their ultimate decision or decide, I'll just pick an example. Let's say I'm in Georgia. I'm an undecided voter. But boy, I'm a Georgia football fan. God, he was a good running back. My goodness. In fact, I'm such a Georgia Bulldogs fan. And at my age, I was an adult when Herschel Walker was a running back for Georgia. And you can just look at all the old video of him. He was something special. But here's how smart I am, Britt. Back when he was running, I thought, you know what? Somebody who's that good of a running back 40 years ahead of time, they'll be a good senator 40 years from now. I thought that. I knew that his qualifications as a great running back made him qualified to be a senator.
So why wasn't he rushed up to help out this country 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 25 years ago?
Britt, are you a wine connoisseur? Okay. It's not ready until it's ready.
The latest shocking revelation about Herschel Walker, of course, is that not only did one of the baby mamas get an abortion, she also gave birth to a child, of course, which he has no contact with whatsoever, as with the other children. And she decided to reveal. I don't know how shocking that is, though. I don't know if that's like the real, hey, here's a little cherry on top of your shit sundae. I don't know if that's really that shocking, is it?
Well, see, the fact that you're even asking that, is the problem. Not you, but
America.
That's that's Trumpism all the way. It doesn't matter what it is, because, well, Trump, because Access Hollywood tape, didn't matter. Remember, it was just locker room talk, Britt.
Yeah.
That was just locker room talk. And they circled the wagons and off to the races they went. And they're doing it again now with Herschel Walker. And the excuse for the Republican Party hanging in there with Herschel Walker and not just saying something, and don't laugh when I say this, for the good of the country.
Sure.
We believe that Herschel Walker was an error to be nominated, and we think that Reverend Warnock would be better for. Okay, that's not going to happen. So since they can't even replace him on the ballot now, it's too late. They're forced to go with him, Britt. There's just nothing the party can do, and we're going to let the voters decide. I'm so tired of that. It's so lame. It's so beyond. And as the title said, if you're going to be a successful politician in this country, you've got to be a good liar. And one of the ways you're a good liar, I think, as a candidate, is if you are falsely accused of something, particularly, you are passionate. You are angry. You will not allow yourself and your family and everyone you love to be defamed by these vicious, vicious lies. Now, you listen to Herschel Walker, and this is from today. This is brand new. Here he is. And apparently this is one of the places where you can just say stupid shit and never get questioned about it. You can just blather on, and you won't have your feet held to the fire. This is the Hugh Hewitt Show, radio show. By the way, Hugh Hewitt is a lawyer. He's a law professor. He knows better.
Sure.
But he's a Republican toady who's gone completely into the tank. Let's see if we can scarf this one up here.
Again, Herschel.
No, not going to happen.
You teased me. I thought it was going to happen that time.
No, I had it, and then I got advertised at. So,
okay.
But anyway, Herschel Walker is giving the most deliberate, quiet response. He's just memorizing some things that he's been told to say, which is that, these are lies. I know it's untrue. They keep telling me things like that. And it's, what do you mean? They keep telling me things like that. And it's, I forgot. He's an incoherent illiterate too. I'm not sure why that would be told. I know nothing about any woman having an abortion, and
Right.
They can keep coming at me like that. They're doing it because they want to distract people. I know that because I've already been forgiven. By who? Oh, I think I got it here. Here you go.
All right, do it.
Story about your paying for a woman's abortion. The anonymous woman has now also alleged that she had a child by you. Your response?
I'll say it was the same thing I said, that, I know this is untrue. I know it's untrue. And they keep telling me things like that, and it's totally, totally untrue. And I'm not sure why that will be told. I know nothing.
Can you hear the anger in his voice there, Britt?
Oh, yeah. It's
And a woman having an abortion, and so they can keep coming at me like that. And they're doing it because they want to distract people. I know that because, I've already been forgiven. And if I've been forgiven, why in the world will I not be forgiven of something like that? And,
You're a bit closer to Christianity than I am, Britt. You want to
Yeah.
explain that bullshit?
If you don't do something, you don't need to be forgiven for it. I believe it would be part of my takeaway from this. There's no forgiveness for something you didn't do. Please, God, forgive me of the thing that I didn't do. That's not a prayer that a lot of people really. And here's the problem. Here's the ugly part of this. If I may just strip away some of the varnish, the people who we've mentioned this before, but I'll mention. It surprises me that not everybody listens to every one of the Brad and Britt casts, so I can review this. You haven't heard this in a while. Not everyone who supports Donald Trump is racist, and of course, by proxy, Herschel Walker, because that's the overlap, the Venn diagram. It's the same thing. But every person, pretty much, who is a racist supports Donald Trump, and they've swallowed hard to support this black guy who's running for Senate because the other black guy they like even less than him, right?
Well,
his
position as a hero football player,
that
puts
wins
him in a different category.
Here's the problem. Here's the cognitive dissonance. There's stuff that they believe about black guys spreading their seed around willy-nilly that kind of is coming into play here that makes them feel pretty uncomfortable.
Right. The worst racist stereotype.
Yes.
Has been put out there.
That's correct.
In a sense by Herschel. He's got more to say here. Let's see.
Oh, good.
Go ahead.
Is there anything you need to be forgiven for vis-a-vis a woman whose name we do not know? Do you know who this woman is, and do you need to be forgiven?
Well, that's what's so funny, and I'm saying I've been forgiven because of all the things I did when I went to the thing with my ex-wife and all that, and things that.
Okay, not just you put a fucking gun to her head. No. You threatened to kill her.
This really is like, when did you stop beating your wife? Now that would be a proper question for him. That would be an absolute fair question for Herschel Walker.
I don't know how many years ago that I wrote in my book. I said, guys, I wasn't perfect.
Yeah, it was so long ago. Things like that you just forget.
Guys, I wasn't perfect.
Right.
I had my problem with mental health, and I've been born again, but I have a new life, and I've been moving forward, and if that had happened, I would have said it, because there's nothing to be ashamed of there. You know, people
really?
have done that, but I know nothing about it, and if I knew about it, I'll be honest and talk about it, but I know nothing about that.
So let me go through I want to go through the arguments that he just made. I didn't do it. If I did do it, Jesus said it's okay. And number 3 was I was crazy. I had mental health problems. That is the Herschel Walker excuseometer that you just went through there.
Well, you got my vote. You got my vote. You got my vote. Well, see, again, this isn't a question of, this is going to cost him half of his support. It doesn't have to cost him much. I think that's the point. And if I'm correct about this, I have seen statistics that say Georgia is one of those states where a lot of people will just leave different offices blank. They don't, in other words, I think last time there were a lot more total votes. There were a lot of Republican registered total votes that voted for other offices that didn't vote for president. So Trump, who lost Georgia, not by, what was it, 11,000?
Yeah.
Okay. I think the number of people who voted in total in Georgia was way past that. So, no, they didn't all vote for Joe Biden, but they sat it out. So Democrats, Raphael Warnock, they're very smart. They don't have to say a word about this. They don't have to say a word, because all you have to do is get a bunch of Republicans who won't publicly say, oh, I'm switching my vote. I'm going to vote for the other guy. They will silently walk in there and not vote at all.
Yeah, it's quiet quitting.
It's quiet quitting as voters, and that's only to the benefit of Raphael Warnock.
I think you can play the turnaround game in this one. I think you can go, if there was a story that came out and said that Raphael Warnock had 4 different kids with 4 different women and paid for abortions, don't you think this story goes a little bit differently? Don't you think? You're muted. Your mic is muted.
Yeah. Lights out on that one.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry, but I just feel like the story would be just the slightest bit different.
Yeah.
If that was the case. And by the way, can they just, I mean, at this point, don't you just produce the check? Can't she, has she published the check? The
Daily Beast has a copy of it.
And that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter.
Nothing matters. Britt, although check for Stormy Daniels, it didn't matter.
This I think is funny, and I didn't get this level of detail, but I'm reading it in a CNN story. Of course, they picked up from the Daily Beast, which has done all this stuff. Apparently, he sent her a get well card.
Yeah. Now here's the only suspicious part. Here's the only suspicious part of the story.
Okay.
When you look at the card that was sent, and again, there are pictures of it, perfect color pictures of it. It looks perfect. It looks like it was just bought at the store Thursday. And I don't know about you, and I keep a lot of old shit, and some of the stuff is pristine, it's perfect.
Yeah.
But Herschel Walker is not denying it, so I'll just put that aside as my little bit of, I'm going to at least be skeptical until the last dog is dead on this one. That's the only thing that's got me. But it's probably real. She probably kept all this stuff. People do.
Where do you go? I've been to CVS and Walmart. I don't know. American Greetings has a get well soon from your abortion card. I wasn't aware.
It didn't quite say that. It wasn't quite saying.
Heard about your procedure, which I know nothing about, didn't pay for it, and Jesus forgives me for. Hope you feel better from the thing that didn't happen.
Yeah. Well, Britt he wasn't present for the abortion because at most abortion clinics, they do have a little card section on the way out.
Can I zoom into that? I really don't want to be there. Would I be positive? Can you Skype me into that? That'd be great.
Yeah.
Oh, good times.
All right, you want to go to Rabbi Shmuley here?
Of course, Rabbi Shmuley and Marjorie Taylor Greene, who is again unfortunately going through a very painful divorce.
And you know who Rabbi Shmuley Bochak is?
Sure.
He's been around for about 30, 35. I mean, he's been out there.
Was he the one? Now, wasn't he on the Imus show quite a bit? Wouldn't Imus have him on?
He's been on. But see, Bernard McGurk died.
Oh, did he? Oh,
he did. Bernard McGurk, he had cancer. He had cancer. 64. That's all.
Jeez.
That's
Good
all. Another person who meets disaster by being near Sid Rosenberg. Boy, was that inside baseball enough for the radio geeks out there?
It is. Sid Rosenberg is a ball of shit. That is correct.
Yeah. All right. So Rabbi Shmuley, very conservative politically, and he's an Orthodox rabbi. A lot of them are, and he has been up the Democrats' ass for not condemning Representative Ilhan Omar of Minnesota. A lot of anti-Semitic shit.
Yeah.
And she deserves it for the most part. I'm with him on that. Now he's going after Marjorie Taylor Greene because the Republicans are silent about her anti-Semitism, or as he calls it, her Jew hatred. Column in the Jerusalem Post, Rabbi Shmuley argues that Marjorie Taylor Greene's frequent anti-Semitic provocations deserve condemnation from the Republicans. She spoke at a white nationalist conference organized by Nick Fuentes, world-famous Holocaust denier. She spoke at this conference, a man that the ADL, the Anti-Defamation League, called a prominent white supremacist pundit, a Holocaust denier who said Jews burning in gas chambers was like baking cookies. After being criticized for speaking at the conference where Putin and Adolf Hitler were praised, Marjorie Taylor Greene doubled down and blamed the bad publicity she got on Democrats and, here's my favorite word, Pharisees in the Republican Party.
Pharisees.
Kevin McCarthy was silent. You go, Pharisees. Rabbi Shmuley goes on to recall how Marjorie Taylor Greene also once spouted an absurd claim about the Rothschild family. Boy, go to the hits when you need them. The Rothschild family,
sure,
funding the space laser that it was using to set the wildfires in California a couple years ago. Man, I'll tell you, it doesn't get any better than that. So here's the bottom line from Rabbi Shmuley, and this is just flat out, unassailably true. The Republican Party cannot say it condemns anti-Semitism and then accept a rabid anti-Semite in its midst. Republicans may think it's good politics to change the subject by talking about the Democrats, but they only succeed in looking like hypocrites. Here's the problem, Reverend Shmuley. They don't care how hypocritical they are.
They don't.
The biggest hypocrite in the history of hypocrites just got done with a 4-year term as president. Back to you, Rabbi Shmuley. Although it is late, it is not too late for the GOP to condemn Marjorie Taylor Greene outright before the plague of anti-Semitism spreads. Marjorie Taylor Greene must be ostracized by the Republican Party. So let's play the turnaround game here, not the turnaround game, the shift game. If any Democrat would say that, they would pretend they didn't hear it. They don't know what the Democrat is talking about. And they have nothing to do with controlling their members. Marjorie Taylor Greene is free to speak as she wishes, right? Isn't that what would be said?
Sure.
If someone had to be held accountable for the thing she says, answered in a statement like the one that Rabbi Shmuley said. But here's the thing. I don't know what the polling is. I guess she's going to get reelected in the fucking deliverance section of Georgia, right? That's the deliverance district, right?
That's Cedartown.
That part of Georgia. And if the Republicans take the House of Representatives and therefore start to control all these committees, the question will be, will she get any committee assignments, or will they put her out to pasture, out in left field, just sitting there, where she'll just continue to do what she does, which is just yak, raise money, and do all the kinds of horrible things for which the Republican Party will say, well, she's just there. We have nothing to do with her. In other words, she'll be like that guy, Steve King. Remember him, the guy from Iowa?
Right.
They kind of decommitted him for several years, and finally he got beat, I think, in a primary a couple of years ago, and that was the end of him. But Marjorie Taylor Greene is just at the beginning of this apparent run, and kudos, hats off, yarmulkes off to Rabbi Shmuley for getting out there and saying what needs to be said, although the people that need to hear it and the people that need to answer for it probably won't hear it and wouldn't answer for it if they did hear it. That's my little take here. What have we left on the table, big guy? What have we left?
Tomorrow night, it's the big time in North Carolina, the Senate debate between Sherry Beasley and Ted Budd, the handpicked Donald Trump Republican nominee. It's on Spectrum News at 8 o'clock on a Friday night. I guess that stuff doesn't matter because it gets replayed a million times. But there you go. That's coming up tomorrow night as we record this, Friday night, October the 8th.
Yeah. Now, is that going to be available only on cable, Spectrum cable?
I'm reading from their website. I don't know if they've made it available to anyone else, but it looks like they're just making it available to them, as far as I know right now.
If you live in North Carolina, or even if you live around the country, Spectrum is in a lot of giant markets. LA, they're everywhere. Mm-hmm. But I just don't recall a statewide debate like this.
Yeah,
being closed off to just cable customers of one company. I mean, that is just wrong. That is so wrong. That needs to be available on free TV, over-the-air television in each large market. They should be on a major TV station in Charlotte, in Asheville, in Greensboro, in Raleigh, in Wilmington, in Greenville. All these. It should be available. Everyone doesn't have cable fucking TV. Mm-hmm. In fact, this is a new thing. I know you haven't heard about this. A lot of people have what they call cut the cord.
Are you kidding me?
Don't get their TV that way anymore. How dare either or both sides agree to this limited version of a debate? It's terrible. It's an outrage. I hope we've missed the details on this.
Maybe
I hope we've missed it.
I know that
it is available, and if so, we're wrong here. But boy, you're seeing the same thing now that I thought I saw a week or so ago. In other words, no inference that it's available everywhere else. Now that could also be, and this is so fucking shitty and pathetic and small. This is because Spectrum doesn't want to say that it's available everywhere else.
That sounds right.
Fewer people will watch it on Spectrum, who even have Spectrum. They will watch it on the local channel. God.
Well, you can't have it on the Fox affiliates, like Channel 50 in Raleigh and Channel 8 in Greensboro and Channel 46 in Charlotte and Channel 21 in Asheville, because SmackDown's going to be on, so they wouldn't preempt their programming for that.
Of course, you can't preempt it for that.
you wouldn't be able to do that. So they're not saying it. Yeah,
it could be on. It can be on any. There's nothing that's not preemptible for that usually.
No,
Fox doesn't have Thursday Night Football anymore. I hear.
Yeah, that's what I hear as well.
I hear. So I'm told.
Do you? I'm going to ask you this, and you're going to smack me down. Do you think the Tua thing would have had more impact if it was on regular television versus Amazon Prime, or did it matter because it was replayed so many different places?
I don't think it would have mattered.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
No. I think that enough people see it, and there was such instant reaction. I don't think it would have mattered.
But do you think it's been a week? I mean, it seems like it's been about 6 months since we saw.
You're referring to the Dolphins quarterback,
yes,
who went down and allowed you to win your bet that I made for you
I did
in Las Vegas. By the way, here is the betting slip for people that there it is.
And then
Bengals -4, and they covered because the Dolphins were down to their second string quarterback.
They were Teddy Bridgewater, former Carolina Panther. He then had involuntary movement in his arms, which was quite disturbing. It looked like it was cramping up, and he was throwing up gang signs. And there are a lot of theories. Chris Nowinski, the guy who's the lead guy on this, who has a PhD in neurology, he said it may be because of some stem damage, and it was really, really disturbing.
I don't know how you, and I haven't read anything about it for a couple of days, but Tua was already saying, "Yeah, I'm working hard. I want to get back with the team. I want to get out there."
Right.
And it's as if, and I know it's his life, and I know it's his health, and I know it's that, but I think he's got to take a lot of time off before he can play again.
Well, I
don't think this is you sit this one out for one game and then come back, next week. So you've taken 2 weeks off.
The comical statement from the Dolphins this week was he's been ruled out for this week's game. That was like a statement that they made on Twitter. He's been ruled. Guys. I kind of think maybe the rest of the season should be a thing, like at least, right? And then he can reassess like next year if he wants to come back or whatever. But I think probably the rest of the year would be a pretty good chance for him to take that off.
Woman, cow, VCR.
All right, that'll do it for us.
All right, we thank you for watching or listening, or however you get this. Maybe you get the audiobook version.
Fine.
The other day I never do this. I clicked on one of those, the article. I don't know what it was from. I think it says article. It's 2 minutes. 2 minutes.
Right.
Let me listen to see how. Those are computers. Those aren't people that read those.
It's a disembodied voice that reads the thing for you.
Who would ever? And I know if you're blind, but of course if you're blind, you can't see to click on.
True.
But that sucks.
If you're blind, when the thing hovers, it's supposed to say stuff to you, like click here to listen to. That's what happens. That's the way the internet is set up. Allegedly, that's how that works.
Yeah. All right. We will see you on Monday here. Thank you very much for your fine work. And we pulled it out. I think we're about 80% back after the previous podcast disaster.
Yeah.
Such a disaster. Biden is going to be visiting this studio over the weekend.